Casey, that video of your daughter turning the football game on, please. This is freaking hilarious.
Isn't that the best?
That was awesome. I just saw it.
Yeah, I couldn't have been happier. When she said that to me, I turned the TV off and was feeding her lunch. And she looks at me, can you turn football back on, please? I'm like, hold on. Let me get my out.
Hang on. Say that again?
Completely unprompted.
That was great. Awesome job. How's everybody doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I really liked the way Drew Lock flung that ball around. Just, I didn't watch the end of the game. I fell asleep. I've read about it this morning. I'm like, okay. But I like the way he was flinging it. He looked like he can play.
Yep. Jerry Jeudy, if he could catch a couple more balls, he might have won that game.
What the heck was that about? Jeez.
Little rookie jitters.
Apparently. Okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock, and I'd like to start on time. So let's get going, everybody. Thanks for joining. Let's go around the room and hear some gratitudes. I'll tell you, for me, it was just the wake up call yesterday. I don't know, you guys haven't all heard about this yet, but one of the new processors, and now somebody, I can't think of her name, but Kelly was in a car accident Friday night, and she was driving on. This is a creepy story. She's okay. Well, she's in the hospital, but she was, her and her husband met somewhere together. They both took separate cars, and then they left and they were driving home, and he was ahead of her, and they were on C470. I don't know where they were on C470, but a car was driving the wrong way on C470 and sideswiped him and two other cars. And so he's grabbing his phone because he knew his wife was behind him. And it was too late. He got off, whipped around, came back around, and she'd gotten hit head on by this driver. And I guess, I don't know how this is possible. According to Holly, the information that she got from Kelly's husband is that the other driver was drunk, driving the wrong way, like 100 miles an hour, and Kelly was doing like 70 miles an hour. And so I'm thinking, well, you're not going to survive. And broken pelvis, broken ankle, cracked ribs, and a concussion. I don't know what she's driving, but maybe we should all get one. That's astounding to me that she's okay. But when I just, with everything that's going on with work and how busy we are and the challenges of this current pipeline just this week and next, with all the loans that are in the system that we got to get clear to close this week, it just, sobering thought. The things that we get stressed out about and worried about really aren't that important in the big scheme of things if you've got your health and you're safe. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to share. That first of all, and then second, that, really grateful that Kelly's okay, because, and then, she called Holly yesterday morning and said, I just don't want to make sure I'm not going to lose my job. I was like, no, you're not going to lose your job. But pretty creepy, pretty scary. I don't know the whole story. The other driver was in the same hospital, St. Anthony's North, I think. And so, and in an induced coma because she has swelling on the brain. That's all I know. So anyway, keep her in your thoughts. And then just, like I said, grateful for like the little things that we get bothered by are just so in an instant unimportant. And it's always an interesting wake-up call for me. So who wants to go next? Ryan?
Yeah. I'm just grateful that my brother's coming into town on Saturday. He's stationed in Florida and I haven't seen him in a while. So grateful I get to spend a nice long week with him before he probably gets shipped off somewhere across the seas.
What branch of the service is he in? Navy?
Air Force.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to be here for the wedding?
He is, yeah. They were, for a while there, they weren't letting anybody off the base for like more than 150 miles. And then this past month, they were doing it more of a case-by-case basis. So luckily you got it approved, which is nice.
That's great. Right on. Casey.
I'm grateful that football's back. kind of felt like a normal weekend for the first time in a while. So pretty fun.
I didn't think
Hang on, watch football.
I didn't think it was that weird that that there weren't any fans. I mean, I thought it was fine. I mean, it's not the same obviously, but it was like, well, that's fine. I mean, it's better than baseball, because baseball, there's so much time between every pitch, and football is like they keep going, or at least it seemed like it wasn't as weird that there weren't fans there to me.
Yeah, and the quality of play pretty much all Sunday was still pretty good for having no preseason and just kind of having a weird off season. I thought the games were good.
Yeah, right on. Giuseppe?
I'm thankful that we went to New York for our anniversary trip last year and not this year.
Say that again?
I'm thankful that we went to New York last year for our anniversary trip and didn't wait till this year.
Yeah.
Morning. That was great. And thankful just for how hard everyone's working right now. You know, we're moving slowly through these next couple weeks, which are super busy, and thankful that our processes are going to be okay after that's done.
Yeah, I'm with you. Thank you. Emily?
I am thankful that my cousin is coming into town this weekend. I haven't seen her in a while, and she had a wedding out here that got postponed and decided to come anyways, so I'll get to spend the weekend with her.
Nice. That's nice. Hi, Lily. Are you a Kansas City fan? Are you a Chiefs fan?
No, not at all.
Okay, because I know Annie is, and we're going to have to listen to that. But go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just grateful for tomorrow's my anniversary, so I'm just looking forward for the weekend to celebrate that and hopefully do something fun. We haven't planned anything yet, just with this whole thing going on, but just grateful for that.
That's nice. It's also Annie's anniversary. You guys have the same wedding anniversary. Claire.
I'm thankful that so far it seems I'm going to pull off the surprise birthday party for my fiance on Saturday, but we'll see. So
That's nice.
no one seems to have said anything yet.
Well, if he knows it's a surprise, he can't tell you anyway. So you'll know, though. June?
I am just thankful for a good night's sleep. I was sick last week and I didn't get a lot of, sleep when you're coughing and stuff like that. And last night I just slept so hard and heavy and woke up feeling refreshed. So thankful for that.
Good night's sleep is awesome when you sleep the whole night through. It's amazing.
I know.
It's getting rarer and rarer for me. Emily?
Another Emily?
This thing got switched around. Sorry, my order changed. Chris, sorry.
That's okay.
You got something else?
I guess since we didn't do this last week, I'm just thankful we got all that little snow but rain last week, because I didn't want to have that smoke hanging around for a long time. I think it's still hanging out around like the San Francisco and Oregon. It's just not healthy to breathe that. So glad that we got some rain to put out those fires.
Yeah, that the Sunday night football game, they were showing the sky. Or no, I was watching. Sunday night, or it was whatever. I was watching it was a baseball game, the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's a baseball game, Oakland.
And that looked terrible out there. So, yeah. John.
I am grateful with all the crazy stuff going on right now that Colorado has managed to stay fairly in the middle of all of it and pretty normal.
Yeah, that's a good point. Excellent. Jan?
I am grateful for a great weekend. We went camping and had nice weather. Kids really enjoyed it, so that's always nice.
Hold on. Just so you guys know, Jan's written 8 deals so far since he started. So good job, Jan. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Annie.
Yeah,
Stay grateful the Chiefs won. You're just gonna get. I'm gonna just mute you.
I mean, we all know that, but yeah. No, my anniversary tomorrow is with my husband, 3 years. So I'm just grateful for him, and we've made it 3 years.
All right, right on. I'm going to send out an email. Thanks everybody for sharing. I'm going to send out an email after this. I don't know if everybody got this or not. The Knowledge Coop did a live in-person continuing ed deal last year that we went to. Some of us went to. I'm going to send that email out to make sure everybody has it. It was actually pretty nice to go and knock it out in one day like that, and it wasn't nearly as onerous as it sounds. And it was pretty entertaining. Ken does a really good job. Ken Perry is the guy that is the founder of Knowledge Coop and kind of a buddy. So I'll forward that email out after the class so that everybody knows. And then I'm going to sign up. I don't know if anybody else is going to, but just to get it over with. That's sad that we say that about continuing ed. Let's get it over with. So what I want to focus on today is I wanted to ask. I sent an email out prior to the call. Jacqueline's got an appointment. That's why she's not on here. I wanted to ask some of the more experienced loan officers just what their experience was when they were prospecting real estate agents when they first got in the business, because it's probably, to me, that's the only salesy thing we do in this business is getting appointments and getting an opportunity to get in front of real estate agents. And everybody's got a different path for how this works. Everybody's got a little bit different story for it. So I just wanted to hear an opportunity for people here to share what they did and how they got going. And we'll start with Giuseppe since he's been here the longest and is probably the most interesting story. So go ahead, dude. I kind of know the story you're going to tell.
Which one? I wasn't good. I didn't have one in mind. I haven't thought of one yet. Are you thinking?
Well, so what about like I remember the one where you set the appointment with the guy and he just didn't show up and you came back to the office like, what a jerk. So I can't remember. You remember who it was?
No, I don't remember who it was, but I'm sure that happened a lot, you know, especially it's usually when you have to drive like across town too. And you're sitting in a coffee shop waiting, but
they just no call, no show you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't work with any of the agents, like the first agents that send me my first referrals. I don't even, I lost track of them. They lost track of me, even though we did a good job. So, I think just follow up, right? So you got to have your own system. Market's down. But however you want to do it, there's a million ways to do it, right? So for me, like right now during this, you know, if I was doing it right now, I'd probably use a lot of videos like BombBomb. So I have a realtor list in BombBomb that's just called like Realtor All. And every month when we close, you can see how many realtors you've added to the database. We pull them out and we add them to that list. And then I try and do a video I do a video, you know, at least once a month that I send out that's something that's going to, you know, be beneficial for them, right? This is, even though it's the pandemic, this is going to be the end of the year when a lot of the buyers are going to be like, oh, I haven't found anything. It's been such a crazy year. I'm going to sign a lease and or extend my lease and look again next year. So anything that we can do to help them get some of those buyers off the fence, they'll be very grateful for that. So I've done a couple videos where I just use a TCA and I'm using BombBomb screen share. So like my picture is in the bottom left corner, but then it's basically a clear video of the TCA. And the one that I'm working on, I shot it yesterday morning, is just, you know, buying a $400,000 house with 3% down, what it looks like today at 2.75, what it looked like a year ago at 3.75, what it could look like a year from now if it goes back to 3.75 and appreciation is 3%, and now you're paying $412 for that house. So just something like that. to try and address some of the objections that they may be getting from their buyers. So the one that I shot yesterday, to give you just a little more, detail, is I was talking to a client who can buy right now with 3% down. And like in his mind, he's like, oh, I really want to put down 5 or 10%. So I'm going to wait a year or two. And so I showed him what it would look like today, what it could look like a year from now. If all you do is go from 3 to 5% down, and the price is now 3% higher, the payment is like within $20. So it's like you got to spend $10,000 more the day of closing just to save $20 a month. And then what that would look like if he put 10% down, but rates went back just to 3.75 from 2.75. Now he's got to put $50,000 down, and he ends up with a payment higher than 3% down today. So just trying to cross the point that interest rate is the most significant factor, not price of homes, to what the monthly payment will be and making the home affordable, so that hopefully they can just share that with their people and help get a couple loans and purchases for them in the door. So totally not related to what I did, 15 years ago. But that's how I would do it now, just because you can't really, I'm not going to closings. Is anyone going to closings?
I don't think so.
We're not allowed to, right? I've been telling people that since March, that the title.
Yeah, we're still not allowed to. I confirmed that yesterday.
Okay, perfect.
That's news I've heard all day.
What a godsend that's been, man. Can you imagine doing all the loans we're doing right now and wasting 2 hours driving to a closing and back? I think that's how I would do it, on some kind of a routine where maybe you do a video that goes out to everyone. I would probably follow up with, if you have a target list of realtors. I know Chris does, a call and maybe a text every other time, something like that, just to let them know you're thinking of them, you're available if they need help over the weekend, if you want to work that weekend. I think that's all it takes. You can research them now on social media, right, which we didn't do a long time ago, to get an idea of, what their interests are. Maybe you mail them a book.
I have a cautionary tale that I want you to share, because it's cautionary and then it's not, because a lot of people, and I've heard you've told this story before, and I had a loan officer at the time go, that's crazy. I don't want to wait that long. Pam Kiker, tell the story of your, if I tell the story, I don't know if I'm getting it right. Wasn't she the listing agent on your first purchase deal that you got? Was a referral from your mom at the school or something, and you did a purchase?
No, so I mean the buyer was one of those realtors. Andy Willems is his name.
Andy Willems, that's right.
He met with me for coffee, and his wife, and they were a team, and they sent some buyers over, and we closed, and everything was fine, and they were happy. But I never heard from him again, so very strange. But on the flip side to that, the listing agent was Pam Kiker, who's was already back then a really successful realtor with a pretty big team. And even though we don't do a ton of business together anymore right now, because she's like one of the owners of that Keller Williams office. Through the years, I've done her loans and her kids' loans, and she's just introduced me to a lot of realtors. But so
it took a while though,
Yeah, it took. I never even spoke to her, because everything had to go through their transaction coordinator, and their transaction coordinator, though, because I mean, back then our notifications were a fax. We sent a fax that said, we got your contract. That's basically our contract in received email that goes out. And then another fax when we got the appraisal, and then a fax that we were clear to close. That was like all the communication that happened.
Right.
That I can remember. And she's like, this is the best communication we've ever had in a transaction. I was like, really? Okay, well, the bar's pretty low. So that just led to some, follow-up calls where I think, Pam Kiker at that point, I got to chat with her or meet with her maybe within 2 or 3 months after that. So it took a while. And they had a really good lender that they had used for years and years. And then that guy retired and moved to Hawaii. and then they started sending me referrals, and we probably had a good, 10-year run of, 15 closings a year, something like that. And a lot of the agents that were on the team now have gone off and started their own things, and I work with them still. So another really good story is that you never know, even if the realtor sucks, like Irene Glazer, remember her?
Yeah.
She sent over a referral that were this couple, Matt and Teresa Bradley, that worked for Price Waterhouse Coopers. And from that one client, like I never worked with that realtor again. She was horrible. And she probably thought we were too. But from that one client, it's probably spread out, Price Waterhouse Cooper, Ernst & Young, these accounting firms, they bring in like a freshman class of newbies, right? That are working like 90 hours a week, making $80,000 a year. And from that one client, I probably did 6 purchases for their friends. And since then, I've probably done 50 loans for those people and people that they referred. And they've moved on. We have like 3 or 4 loans in process right now that are refinances for some people of that original group. So just, it doesn't, like, even if the realtor, you decide is not a good fit for you, you always just want, of course, take excellent care of everyone, because you never know how that one referral from that one realtor could turn into like.
Well, if you guys remember the
business.
Friday Focus a few weeks back, I wrote from Charlie Munger's book, The Wit and Wisdom of Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's partner, that the best source of new business is the business on your desk. And that's exactly what Giuseppe's referencing, is like, you don't know. And I have multiple similar stories, but I want to hear from Chris Hauber, why don't you share with us, maybe tell us the story about Judy Pottle.
Yeah, similar to Giuseppe. So basically when I started, I think I was a loan officer in 11. Yeah, May of 2011. So I was living with my parents, so I would just drive around the neighborhood, and maybe a little different back then, but there was just, for sale signs in the yard. So I'd take the flyer and I go back I grab like 10 probably per night on my way home from work. And then the next day I'd throw them in my database or whatever we use at the time, Cimarron. And then I just call those agents and be like, yeah, I live in your neighborhood. I'm new. Like, I want to meet. So I probably got some meetings out of it. I don't think I really work with any of those realtors anymore. But probably the best thing I ever did was do open houses. I don't know where we got the idea, Dave, or maybe it was, I don't know where we got the idea. I just was like, I'm just going to go meet realtors at open houses, because they're trying to get business. It seems like they're motivated to like try to sell the house and maybe get some buyers. So I would just grab like a Gatorade and a bunch of Gatorades and like Cliff Bars, and I would print out like our guarantees and a few other things. And I kind of mapped it out. I'd go on like Google and look at these open houses on Friday and like map out like a route. And I'd go like to 5 or 6, maybe 10, and maybe like 12 to 2 or something. So, but what I would do is I just walk in, and I was a little nervous. Like, it's kind of weird. You're just walking in, you're just trying to say hi to people. But yeah, you just walk in and you're like, yeah, I'm not a buyer. I'm just a lender. I'm new. And they're kind of lonely there. So they end up just talking to you, because no one stopped by for the last hour, and you just talk about business, and you're like, yeah, can I have your card? And I'd love to meet with you. So then on Sunday, I would take all those, put them in our database, and then I would call all of them to try to set, more, detailed meetings to talk about stuff. And one of the realtors, I think I have like 3 or 4 that I still talk to, but one of the realtors is Judy Pottle, who's like, kind of like, is my number one and has been. But from just her alone, I don't know how many loans I've closed between deals that she was the buyer's agent, and then I started working with the listing agent, buyers that she's referred, they've referred their friends and their friends and their friends, and it's like that spider web of referrals. So kind of like G with Pam Kiker, I mean, need like 3 or 4, like one person like that can just really trust you and refer business to you. So like G said, there's just a lot of different ways to do it. I mean, but I think the main thing is you just got to pick one and do it. And then
What I like about your
It'll work.
relationship, what I like about your relationship with Judy Pottle, she's such a sweetie, and you invited her to your wedding, and she
Yeah, I
came.
did, yeah.
She came up to Beaver Creek for your wedding. That was really cool that she was there. So
the funny thing is she's like, I didn't know if I would have given you a shot, but once you said you went to Regis, that's where my ex-husband went. I knew you were a good kid. So that worked. The other funny thing is like Nicole Ruth was her lender, and Nicole had just like gotten out of business.
Oh, that's
to do,
right.
Like
I remember
some
that.
sort of like fitness training program or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Nicole got back in, and Judy's like, yeah, sorry. No.
Yeah.
You just gotta figure out what you want to do and do it.
What I like about walking in and just saying, you know what, I'm new and I just want to meet realtors, and there's like nobody, it's like people are afraid to say they're new. Everybody was new sometime. And if a realtor's working an open house, Chris is right. They're new and they're hustling, because experienced agents that are doing a lot of business don't do that, right? They don't show up at open houses. So you're meeting people that are hungry. You're meeting people that are, I'm trying to get business too. And if you use that line, I think it's cool that you use that line, Chris. So good job. Thanks for sharing that. John, how about you?
Pretty much exactly the same as Chris. I would go to open houses and use a few different lines. One, just I'm doing town, in the business, trying to learn the neighborhoods.
Yeah, because
And-
John was, for those of you that don't know, John was like a new transplant to Denver, what, 2 years ago?
Mhm.
Yeah, so no relationships in this town. Well, not no relationships,
One.
but a couple, like hardly any, right? He's from Lafayette, Louisiana. So go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so just doing that, and Chris is right, like they're there, they're bored, they just want to talk. And so it's a really good way to meet people. If you go in and you see there's a lender, or you see there's a big crowd, I just kind of blend in and walk away, because that's not when you're supposed to approach somebody when they're busy. But yeah, just go and talk to them, and then I would, if you have a decent conversation, I wouldn't bring anything, but I would follow up with a mail of all our guarantees and phone call, and then try to meet with them afterwards, which is successful. I mean, a couple of realtors I met 2 years ago, I'm still working with on doing that. I mean, they started doing open houses again, so it's opened back up again, but some probably missed opportunities this summer. Another line, we talked about this yesterday, is I'd go in and say, my client is interested in houses in this neighborhood, and I'm just trying to learn the neighborhood, and they're really busy, so I'm kind of like prospecting for them. And agents love that. They're like, oh my God, I never heard that before. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I really think they might be interested in this house. Like, I'm gonna definitely tell them about it.
That's a good line.
They love that. It just is a good way to have a conversation that's also not awkward, you know? And some of the times it was actually true. I kind of like focus on a neighborhood where a client was looking. But, you know, it's another way to just break the ice and say who you are and why you're there. But it works great. And then also just doing like social things, like one of the companies I work with had a lot of events for Art Walk, and I'd go hang out there, bring snacks or drinks, and talk to realtors there, and got some of my good realtors off of that as well. So just put yourself out there. You're never gonna get, you know, I think you have to meet somebody face to face so they can know who you are before they even want to talk to you.
Right. That's great. Thanks. Casey, Clement, how about you?
I mean, my approach was a little bit different, just because I got into it in a different way, in a different time in my life than, you know, maybe Chris or Giuseppe did. You know, I had a pretty big network from growing up in Denver and doing personal training and all of it. So I just went through every single person on my phone. I mean, like, I called like ex-girlfriends, like ex-girlfriends of friends, and like the people you don't want to call. And the only conversation I would have with them was just, hey, do you have a realtor that you have worked with, or that is a friend of yours that you think did a very good job? Perfect. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm new into the business right now. I'm just trying to grow my realtor network. And that was the easiest way for me to get in touch with realtors was so-and-so is someone that suggested you or said that you did a fantastic job. And I just want to learn from you and ask you some questions about your experience in the industry. You have some time to meet. And that was one of the biggest things that worked well for me. Not everyone.
That's solid, dude. Good job.
It got me. I was meeting with 2 or 3 realtors a week, and did any of them send me deals? Maybe 1 out of 10 of them did. But you learned really quick on how to talk to them, what they want to hear, and just how your rapport is going to be with that person. So every time I would meet with them, it was a conversation of, should we be friends? Like, do we want to hang out? One of the best things that came out of that as well was one of the agents out of that is one of the top, if not the top agent in all of Denver and his team. And they do multi-million-dollar price point homes, right? So most of his buyers aren't people that are going to come to me or that really need loans, to be honest with you. But he had someone new on his team, hooked me up with them. He's like, hey, I've got a couple open houses, like multi-million-dollar open houses. Can you help out? Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there, because me putting his name on flyers and on social media, I got 3 other agents that would reach out to me the next week, be like, hey, I saw you were working with this agent. I just wanted to reach out and say hi.
That's awesome.
So talk to the people who are new and talk to the people who have done it for a long time. You may not get deals from them, but they may be willing to help you out in some other way, and you can use that to your advantage.
That's great. One of my best, I'll share a story. That's awesome, Casey. Good job. One of my best referral sources was a guy by the name of Milt Reimer, who I got as a client from a realtor named Darnell He. And I've shown this presentation to people before, but I can count between 1999 and 2010, I could count like 40 deals that I did from him and his referrals, the repeat and referral business I got from him, and then all the repeat business I got from him. Jacqueline's refinancing one of those clients right now, Kent Douglas, Kent and Crystal Douglas. She sent me an email and she goes, hey, Kent Douglas wanted me to say hi. So, it's it goes back to that statement, the best source of new business is the business on your desk. You've got to take care. It's table stakes to be able to take care of the clients you have. If you don't take care of the clients you have, and when I first got in this business, I worked with the first company I worked at. I had to leave because they were just ripping people off left and right. And I'm like, don't you think it would be a good idea to take really good care of these clients and then get a bunch of repeat and referral businesses? Like, there's tons of business out there. You don't have to worry about that. And it's like, it seems so stupid to me. And so obviously we don't operate that way, but that was the goal all along, was to get a client and then get all their business and all their referrals. And it's how we do business today. So these are some great stories, and I appreciate everybody taking the time to share. It's about 9:35, so I'll forward that email out about Knowledge Coop. Thanks everybody who shared. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody got something good out of that. And let's have an awesome day and have an awesome week. Thanks everyone.